can you let yourself feel? Or maybe the better question is, will you let yourself feel? I just came off the back of hosting Grounded Retreat with my community, I Am Her Collective, and we talked about how important it is to come back to our bodies. We spent an entire day coming back to what it means to be at home within yourself, to feel safe within your own body, to truly experience life through your sensations, and to be mindful and present. I always defined mindfulness as paying attention. It's noticing new things. Because when you're truly paying attention and you're not assuming that everything is always the way that it usually is, and you're not just mindlessly going through life, but you're actually paying attention, you're conscious, you're present, what happens is you notice new things. Mindfulness is a state of being, as opposed to the focus of constantly needing to do, to prove, to perform, to achieve. And I think we live in a very performative world. And for me, coming out of that retreat, I realized that being a grounded woman and living a mindful life is really challenging in this day and age. In this world where there's constant stimulation, there's a constant pressure to have to create, to have to perform to meet someone's standard, to be a certain way, to maintain an identity. There's this message of constant lack. You're not enough. You don't have enough. And this state is reminding us of messages that are not even true. It's reminding us that we don't deserve to be happy yet unless we have XYZ result. We can't slow down until our life looks a certain way. We shouldn't settle unless we look like this, or we have this thing, or our relationships are like that. It says that we need to be perfect. And only then, when we are perfect and life is pretty and pristine and proper, that only then can we be at peace and be calm, or at least without guilt. We are, especially as women, constantly guilting ourselves about not being enough, not doing enough, not having enough. And there's so much unrealistic pressure put on us by the world, but also perpetuated by ourselves and what we allow, that I don't think we are taught the tools. And so that's why my question for you today is, will you allow yourself to feel? Because I think that's the secret. There are many ways to heal. There are many ways that you can better yourself. But what I know to be true, and what I've experienced in my own personal journey of becoming more grounded, of healing through hustle and burnout, is that feeling is healing. I shared at the retreat, feeling is freedom. And to me, I've come to know this truth because there once was a time when I avoided feeling. Feeling was uncomfortable. To feel that I was exhausted, to admit that I was tired, to feel that I was afraid, and to really acknowledge that was debilitating. I made it wrong, that I was feeling things. I suppressed it, I avoided it, I numbed it. And that led to just chasing more, doing more, hustling more, striving. And this constant hamster wheel kept me on the hamster wheel, losing myself, going further and further away from who I really was or am. And the more that I strived, the harder that I pushed, the less that I felt. And a lot of people experience this where they start to feel a little bit numb. Like they don't really feel much anymore. Everything's just a blur. And many women liken this also to feeling a little bit disconnected to their bodies. They don't feel excited. They feel unpretty. They don't take care of themselves. They think it's a waste of time to do anything remotely slower or softer. And this was me for a long time. I think my inability to feel compounded with this constant chasing and not being aware of really what I was chasing, just constantly going for the sake of going and keeping up with whatever the world wanted me to be and do, and not really being mindful with what I actually wanted in life. This combination led me to become a disembodied, ungrounded woman, and eventually I burnt out. Now I share this and I ask you this question today. Will you allow yourself to feel? Because truly, I think that that's all it takes. If I had been asked this question, then maybe I would have been forced to have to find an answer. Why don't you allow yourself to feel? Is it that feeling fearful, feeling afraid, or feeling that deep down you feel less than? Is it that admitting what you're feeling feels like an act of defeat? Because it's not. It's really not. Maybe you learned that. Maybe you told yourself that story because something happened that caused you to feel that way. Maybe somebody downplayed your emotion or just took advantage of it. But feeling, even on a biological level, exists to do one thing. Feeling and the feelings that we feel are here to indicate to us a certain message. Our bodies are communicating to us all the time. They are signaling to us what it needs in order to have balance. Life is all about balance. Our bodies are all about balance. Our minds are all about balance. Anything that you ever do, whether you label it good or bad, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. Because to the body, to the brain, to source, to spirit, it's all just neutral. So it doesn't really matter whether you have a good habit or a bad habit, or you have a positive feeling or a negative feeling. What I want you to realize is that they're all signals and signs. Your job, our job, is to acknowledge all of them. Now, what happens when you don't allow yourself to feel is you're essentially running from the signals. And then you wake up one day and you're like, why am I so miserable? Why am I living this life that I don't love? Why is my body all of a sudden getting unwell? Why am I constantly in my head? Why can't I get rid of these thoughts? Why do I feel so depressed? All these things are happening and coming up because you're not listening to the signals. See, your body is constantly giving you signals, right? If dust goes into my nose, I'm going to sneeze. What does that sneeze mean? Well, my body didn't just sneeze for no reason. It's a reaction. It's reacting to foreign particles in my nose that are not supposed to be there. And my body's like, hey, we need to get rid of this, so we're going to sneeze. Right? When you cut yourself and you start bleeding, do you ignore it? No. You try to stop the bleeding. It's a signal and you respond to it. Our feelings are signaling something. And there is no point labeling them as bad. There is no point running from them because feelings are meant to be felt. And when you start to allow yourself permission to feel your feelings, you will begin to find freedom. See, allowing myself to feel my feelings is what birthed alignment in every area of my life again. Allowing myself to feel my feelings is what led me to begin to take up hobbies again, to begin to take steps to create a life that I enjoy again after burnout. Feeling my feelings is what led me to begin to create and nurture new friendships and let go of the attachment to old ones. Feeling my feelings led me to pick up a camera and start sharing my truth. I felt the fear. I acknowledged the fear. I let it be there without judging it. I let it be a signal. Well, what does this fear mean? Well, it means that I care about this thing so much that I don't want to do it wrong. But then I got to have a conversation with that emotion. I got to then go, you know what? Fear is actually an expression of love. You're afraid of messing this up because you love it so much, you care about it so much. So how about we embrace that it's not about doing it perfect, because there's no way you can mess it up if it's right, if it's meant for you, if you're called for it. When I felt that fear, I could do it anyway. It wasn't through suppressing it. Actually, suppressing it just made me keep procrastinating picking up the camera. It made me keep procrastinating the business idea, the opportunity, the offer. Everything that I have ever created, including the I Am Her Collective and everything that it is today, and the amount of women's lives that have been changed and impacted by it, is a byproduct of me finally letting go of the judgment of my emotion and starting to give myself permission to feel my feelings. I am convinced that if we could just do this simple thing, not easy, but it's simple, this simple thing of giving ourselves permission to feel our feelings and let them be felt, because that's all they want to do, then we're going to become more embodied. We're going to start acknowledging what we need. Just like you don't hear a child and just leave it crying. Imagine it's your own child. You want to take care of it. You want to ask it, what's wrong? What's bothering you? How can I serve you? How can I soothe you? Your feelings want space. Don't demonize them. In fact, they hold so much wisdom for the direction that you are called to go in. And if you could give yourself permission today to let yourself feel more, I promise you, you're going to find freedom in a new way. You're going to find embodiment in a new way. And you're going to find grounding. Because all of a sudden, it's not about needing to do more, achieve more. You're not chasing this constant having, and your focus isn't on needing and performing and doing. What feeling does is it reminds you that you're human. It reminds you that everything else outside of you and your soul is temporary. And that is so liberating, because it means that you can ditch the chase. You can let go of the need for more, and you start to be content with what is. You start to see and feel the good in everything. And you stop feeling like there's just constantly unprocessed emotions swirling around, being channeled into addiction, into hustle, into grinding, and into avoidance. You start to feel really embodied, grounded. You feel in control. So perhaps the solution is not more of a routine or a stricter schedule, or you need more motivation. Perhaps you just need to ask yourself, will I let myself feel? Thanks for joining me.